Hi all. In this we are going to see what is electric flux density. So in previous video we studied what is electric field intensity and what is Coulomb's law, etc. So in this video we are going to see what is electric flux density, what is Gauss law, and what is electric potential. So first is electric flux density. So electric flux density is basically is a measure of the strength of an electric field generated by a free electric charge. So what is the strength of electric field generated by a free electric charge? That is represented by using this electric flux density. So this electric flux density is a measure of the strength of an electric field generated by a free electric charge corresponding to the number of electric lines of force passing through a given area. So basically this electric flux density is the amount of flux passing through a defined area that is perpendicular to the direction of the flux. So this is the way we can define this electric flux density. So this is basically the measure of strength of an electric field generated by a free electric charge, or we can say that it is the amount of flux passing through a defined area. So that is called electric flux density. So this electric flux density we can represent in terms of E as D equal to epsilon 0 E. So this electric field intensity depends on the medium in which their charges are placed. Suppose if we have a vector field D that is independent of the medium, and that D is given by D equal to epsilon 0 E. So where E is the electric field intensity. Then we can see that if you have an electric flux psi in terms, so we can represent this electric flux psi in terms of D, and that is psi is equal to surface integral of D dot ds. So the basic difference between this electric flux psi and the electric flux density D is that the electric flux density is the field lines produced across the unit encircled area, or we can say that the electric field is defined as the electric force per unit charge that we already seen in previous video. So the electric flux is defined as the electric field times the normal area vector, or we can say that the electric flux is the integral of electric flux density over a surface. So that is the basic. This electric flux psi is the integral, surface integral of electric flux density over a surface. So the vector field D is called the electric flux density and is measured in coulombs per square meter. So the unit of D is coulombs per square meter. So next we can see that for an infinite sheet, the electric flux density D is given by D equal to rho s by 2 an, where an is the unit vector. So this derivation we can see later. And for a volume charge distribution, the electric flux density D is given by D equal to surface integral of rho v dv by 4 pi r square ar cap. In this D is the function of charge and position only. So for this in every case the D is the function of charge and position only. That means it is independent of medium. But electric field intensity is dependent on medium, and the electric flux density is independent of medium. So next is Gauss law. So what is Gauss law means? It states that the total electric flux psi through any closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface. So according to Gauss law, the total electric flux over any closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface. So we can say that the total electric flux that is represented by psi, which is equal to the charge q itself. So we can say that if you have a DC, if you know the small electric flux through any surface, then the total electric flux psi can be represented as integral closed surface integral of DC, which is equal to closed surface integral of d dot ds, because psi is surface integral of d dot ds. So we can write psi as surface integral of d dot ds. So the according to Gauss law, the total flux psi is equal to charge enclosed. So we can write the surface integral of d dot ds equal to q itself, and we can replace this q in terms of volume density as q is equal to volume integral of rho v dv. So we can write Q as Q is equal to surface integral of d dot ds, Q equal to psi itself, where psi is the surface integral of d dot ds, which is equal to volume integral of rho v dv. So we can, according to divergence theorem, we can say that the surface integral of a vector is equal to the volume integral of divergence of that vector. So we can replace the surface integral, closed surface integral of d dot ds as the volume integral of del dot d dv. So we can compare this equation. So here we have the volume integral of rho v dv, and here we have which is equal to volume integral of del dot d dv. So both sides are volume integral, so we can equate the inside terms. So that means rho v equal to del dot d. So this is an important equation, and this represents the Maxwell's first equation in point form. So the volume integral of del dot d dv is equal to volume integral of rho v dv, or surface integral of d dot ds equal to q. So that is Gauss law. Surface integral of d dot ds equal to q, that is called as Gauss law. From that we can write the volume integral of del dot d dv is equal to the volume integral of rho v dv, that is called Maxwell's equation in integral form. And if by equating the inside terms we can write rho v equal to del dot d, so that's called Maxwell's first equation in electric field, and it is called as the point form representation of Maxwell's first equation, and it's very important equation that we used in electromagnetic propagation. So rho v is equal to del dot d is called as Maxwell's first equation in point form. So it states that the volume charge density is the same as the divergence of electric flux density. So to find, if you have this electric flux density, then you can easily find the volume charge density rho v as rho v equal to del dot d. So while finding this divergence, you check which coordinate system we need to use. So according to the coordinate system, you can find the divergence of electric flux density to obtain this volume, the volume charge density. So according to Gauss law, the total flux, that is psi enclosed in a closed surface, is equal to the charge itself, and we can replace charge q as volume integral of rho v dv, and similarly the psi as surface integral of d dot, closed surface integral of d dot ds. And according to Gauss divergence theorem, again we are replacing the surface integral of d dot ds as volume integral of del dot d dv. So both side we have volume integral, that is volume integral of rho v dv equal to volume integral of del dot d dv. So we can equate rho v is equal to del dot d, and this equation is called as Maxwell's first equation in point form. So according to this equation, we can say that if you are finding the divergence of electric flux density, you can easily find out the volume charge density. Next we need to see different applications of Gauss law. So we can see this later. So we have different geometry, and for this different geometry we can find the electric flux density. From that we can easily find the electric field intensity. So we can see later that. So next we can see what is electric potential. So electric field intensity is due to a charge distribution, and that can be obtained from Coulomb's law. So we already studied what is Coulomb's law. So from Coulomb's law we can find the force between two charges, that is F. And if you know about this force, then F by Q is the electric field intensity. So this electric field intensity you can find either from Gauss law or Coulomb's law. So according to Gauss law, D is equal to we can find the Q is equal to surface integral of d dot ds. From that d you can easily find what is electric field intensity. Similarly, from Coulomb's law you can find what is E using the equation F by Q, because basically Coulomb's law is what is the force between two charges. So you can either find this electric field intensity using this Gauss law or Coulomb's law. So Gauss law mainly used for symmetric distribution of charges, for example a cylindrical geometry or for a spherical conductor. So if the geometry is symmetrical in nature, then we can easily find the electric field intensity from this Gauss law. So we can obtain E without involving vector by using the electric scalar potential V. So we can see that this force as well as this electric field intensity from Gauss law, both are vector quantities. So we can find this E without we are going this Coulomb's law or Gauss law. So that method is the electric scalar potential V. So from Coulomb's law, the force on point charge Q is, we can write F by Q is E. So we can write this force F is equal to Q into E. Then the work done in displacing the charge by length dl. So we know that what is the work done. Work done is force into displacement. So the work done displacing the charge by length dl is given as dw is equal to f dot dl. So there is a negative sign. So why this negative sign means the negative sign indicate that the work is being done by the external agent. So if you have a charge Q in one place, so we need to for example, if you have a charge Q at A, then you need to move that charge to another point B or a small distance dl. Then you need to do an external work to remove that charge, because there is an already field is there. So to move a charge from that we need to do extra work. So that's why that a negative sign. So we can say that dw is equal to minus f dot dl. So that is minus, we can replace f as q e dot dl. So the total work done or the potential energy required in removing the point charge when from Q from A to B. So we have a path. So from A to B, if you need to change a charge or to move a charge, we need to integrate this dw. So that is w is equal to minus q integral from A to B E dot dl. So dividing the above equation by q gives the potential energy per unit charge. So we are finding what is w by q. So that represent the potential energy VAB, that is from A to B. So we can say that W by Q is equal to VAB equal to minus of integral from A to B E dot del. This VAB is known as the potential difference between point A and B. So we can say that the electric potential is nothing but the electric potential is the work done to move a charge from infinity to a point. So that is called the electric potential. So the electric potential is defined as the work done in order to move a charge from infinity to in order to move a point charge from infinity to a point. So that is called electric potential, and the expression for of electric potential between point A and B is A is the initial point, B is the destination, then it is minus integral of A to B E dot dl. So if VAB is negative, there is loss in potential energy in moving Q from A to B. That is, work is being done by the field. So if VAB is positive, there is a gain in potential energy in the movement, and external agent does the work. So it is independent of the path taken. That is the next property. It is measured in joules per coulomb referred as volt. So we know what is potential unit. So it is volt, or we can say that joules per coulomb. And the potential at any point due to a point charge Q is located at the origin is given by V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon 0 R. So we can see that force expression is F is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon 0 R square, and for electric field the expression is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 R square, and the potential expression is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 R. That means the potential is proportional to the charge and inversely proportional to the distance. So, and we can say that the potential at any point is the potential difference between that point and a chosen point at which the potential is 0. So assuming zero potential at infinity, the potential at a distance r from the point charge is the work done per unit charge by external agent in transferring a test charge from infinity to that point. So the basically the potential is defined as the work done to bring a unit positive charge from infinity to a point. So we can represent it as v is equal to minus integral of infinity to a point e dot dl. So if the point charge q is not at the origin but at a point whose position vectors are, then the potential is represented as v of r, and we can represent it as v of r equal to q divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 modulus of r minus r dash. The potential at r dash is q by 4 pi epsilon 0 modulus of r minus r dash. So that's the if you have the relative position vector, then you can use this expression to find the potential. So that is what is electric potential. Next, if you have n point charges like q1, q2, q3 up to qn located at points with position vectors r1, r2, r3 up to rn, then the potential at r is we need to add all the potentials. So v of r equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 summation of k equal to 1 to n qk divided by r vector r minus modulus of vector r minus vector rk. So that is the case of point charge potential. And if you have the continuous charge distribution instead of point charge, then we can write the potential at r as v of r equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integral of royal dl by r minus r dash modulus of r minus r dash for line charge. And if it is surface integral, that become rho s ds, integral of rho s ds. And if it is volume charge, then the integration is for rho v dv. So this is the case for electric potential.